I had a couple interesting conversations yesterday. I gave Brad Anderson a call at Wayzata, asked him if he had a chance to watch any of the Blaine tape, and you know, it's interesting you brought up Anders' Lee name because he drew that comparison to this Peterson kid in that, you know, Anderson even went as far to say that he might be a step better in running this offense and stronger and maybe even more elusive. And what did Anders Lee finish with? 38, 39 touchdowns, you know, a huge number. And so that's a statement. And then I also called Mike Corton yesterday, the head coach at Champlin Park High School. His team is the only one to have faced both these teams this year. So I thought I'd get his perspective on things, and he had a couple of interesting points. He liked what Rosemount did early in getting Wayzata to jump. You know, Wayzata kind of said it was nerves on that first drive, taking those couple penalties that really set a tone for that drive. It didn't do much after that. But Blaine runs that no-huddle offense. They get up to the line, and you know they can call the play right away. That takes some time. You know, Corton thought perhaps that could play a little bit into it, and then it might give you know, Wayzata some problems, you know, just with getting off the ball.
Yeah, a completely different challenge for Wayzata's defense. I mean, Rosemont, by their admission, has to run the ball to be effective, and against Wayzata, I think they gained something like 36 yards on 26 carries. If Blaine comes out running no huddle, throwing quick passes out of the spread, now that's a much tougher challenge for Wayzata's secondary to stay with Blaine's receivers. You know, basically the spread is in a lot of ways a ball control offense, only you do it with short passes rather than running plays. So that's it's a completely different scheme for Wayzata to prepare for. Probably the one thing that's to their advantage is they get 2 weeks to get ready for it.
Yeah, and their coaching staff is as good at scheming as anybody, especially defensively. You know, Matt Lombardi does a tremendous job over there at Wayzata and getting those kids ready to play. And I bet you they spend more time in front of film than any other team in the state, and it really, you know, tends to pay off. Touching a couple of the other games, Saturday there'll be 2 state final games played at the Metrodome. The noon game, De La Salle, Glencoe Silver Lake in the Class 3A is also a rematch of the championship game from a year ago. Glencoe won last year 56-20. De La Salle is a perfect 13-0 on the year. Glencoe has one loss that came to Orono, which was a 4A state semifinalist. Glencoe is not as powerful as they were last year, guys, and De La Salle, you know, has a lot of their guys back on offense. I don't know if you've had a chance to pay any attention to these 2 teams, but this could be maybe a different sign than we had last year.
I haven't seen either one except for clips on both teams. De La Salle has always been noted for their gifted skill position players, a lot of speed. Glencoe can beat you with the power. They've had some tremendous defensive personnel come out of that school, and some running backs. They like to pound at you if they can. I don't know if they've opened it up a little more this year, but it's quite a program they have going out there.
Yeah, it really is. You know, they've been a regular. They've had a regular spot in the Metrodome this time of the year the last few years. The 4A championship game will be 3 p.m. Saturday. Northfield and Mankato West. These 2 teams played in week 1 of the year. Mankato West won 35-13. But Northfield's done a lot, or I should say, they've been on a very similar run to what Blaine has been to get to where they have. They beat Montemedi 2 weeks ago, which was, in a lot of people's eyes, the state favorite to win this thing. Then last week they went and beat top-ranked Orono in convincing fashion. 30-12, and I mean, this was one of the more impressive performances I've seen this year. They're going to give Mankato West a game.
Yeah, I obviously, and as you know, having watched the game, Orono took itself out of the game.
Yeah, 8 penalties
with 8 turnovers, and they had some
8 turnovers,
and they had some starters injured. I like Mankato West in this game because they have played a pretty tough schedule. I mean, I don't know that people associate the Big 9 with being one of the power conferences in the state, but Mankato West is a Class 4A team, plays some 5A schools in the Big 9. Their only loss was to a 5A school. They've shown in the playoffs that they have some athletes. They should be able to do well on turf. They've got some players who are explosive. I very much like their chances in this game.
I agree. As impressive as Northfield was last week, indoors, in a controlled environment, Mankato can throw the ball. I just struggle to see Northfield pulling it off 3 weeks in a row. If they do, all the credit to them. They've had a heck of a run. In the start of the year, I think they were 1-3 start, and 9 wins later, they're playing for state championship, and that can't be discredited.
Yeah, they're on a run in the playoffs similar to what we're seeing from Blaine. I don't know that when the section playoffs started that anybody really gave Blaine much of a chance of still being around at this point. I don't know, for instance, that too many people gave them a chance to get out of their section, and yet here they are.
Yep. Well, that's your look at the Prep Bowl. It should be an exciting couple of days. The team's got a 13-day break in between these games, so we'll be there next week to take a look at it and be back here to maybe wrap some of it up a little bit. But we'll be back with this show in a short minute with a look at the winter sports season. Girls hockey started late last week and is really getting into swing this week, and boys hockey gets going here soon, and girls and boys basketball are right around the corner as well. So we'll be right back with a look at the winter sports season.